Hello, this is Dr. Salvatore Vinciguerra. Welcome to the Bok Tower Gardens in Lake Wales, Florida. Please enjoy this video. The Bok Tower Gardens is one of Florida's oldest attractions and is located between Orlando and Tampa, Florida. The significance of the Bok Tower and Gardens lies not only within its location, which was once thought to be the highest point on the peninsula of Florida, located on Iron Mountain at 295 feet. Now, the highest point in the state of Florida is actually located in North Florida in Walton County, and that is Britton Hill, 345 feet. The other historical significant part about this particular park is the tower itself, from the architects to the artists that helped create some of the different designs inside and outside of the tower, also to the musicians, the Carillons, or the people that played the bells, and I'll be showing you later in the video how the bells are actually played, and the significance of some of these musicians and the composers that have studied here in Lake Wales, Florida. As you're listening to this video, can you pick out the name of the tune that the bells are singing? This particular bell tower was completed by 1929. And it uses a regular bell system, and I'll be talking more about the history of it later, but this is not the only bell tower located in the state of Florida. It's maybe one of the oldest ones of its vintage. The other one is located at the Stephen Foster State Park, but it uses a more tubular bell system, and I have a whole video on that one, which you can check out my channel page to find more information about that particular park and the Carillon Bell Tower that is at the Stephen Foster State Park. If you guessed America the Beautiful, then you are correct. See if you can pick out some of the other songs that the bell tower is singing throughout the video. This is the visitor center, and it's one place that you can start your tour of the Bok Tower Gardens, or you can also use this as a refuge because it is air conditioned, and the temperatures here in the state of Florida can be quite extreme, up to 100 degrees. So you may want to use this place as either a starting point or somewhere to take a break and learn more about the history of the Bok Tower Gardens. For all of you music lovers and musicians out there, this is a great place to start your experience because I believe that it provides you with a great foundation for understanding the tower, the musical instrument, and the bells that are used to create the songs that you're hearing as you walk around the park. Now let's take a closer look at the musical instrument that's inside of the 60-bell Carillon Tower. The 60 bells inside of the tower were cast by John Taylor and Company of Loughborough, England. The bell chamber is on the 8th floor of the tower, and just below it is a playing room that houses this instrument, the clavier or keyboard that controls the bells. In this case, we call this instrument a carillon. It is an instrument of at least 23 tuned bells in a chromatic series. Cast from bronze, which is composed of mainly copper and tin, and then specially tuned. The bells are hung dead, meaning that the bells do not swing, only the clappers move. The instrument is fully mechanical. There are no electronics. The carillon art began in the Low Countries of Belgium and the Netherlands in the 17th century. Today, these countries still have the highest concentrations of carillons. Here's a fun fact. There are approximately 600 carillons around the world and only of about 185 carillons in North America. Imagine if there were only 185 pianos on the whole continent, and we're lucky enough to have one here. So let's go back to the actual keyboard instrument, which is the clavier, and that controls the carillon, which is the bells and all of the other stuff, which is part of the bigger instrument that we have inside of the bell tower. This clavier keyboard allows for the expressiveness through variation and touch, and is very similar to a piano using both the hands and a lightly closed fist and feet. The keyboard is connected through a series of wires and levers to each clapper, which strikes inside of the bell, causing it to ring out. Bells cannot be silenced after they are rung. Most towers also have a practice keyboard, usually identical to the playing keyboard, which is connected to a set of xylophone bars so that the carillonneurs can practice privately without being heard outside. When you're visiting the gardens, appreciate that the Bok Tower Gardens Singing Tower houses one of the world's largest and finest carillons. Its 60 bells, weighing more than 123,500 pounds, occupy the upper third of the structure. At the time of its installation, the carillon was the heaviest in the world. Its music has become a core part of the garden experience, enjoyed by millions of visitors over the years. The first carillonneur of this tower was Anton Breeze, followed by Milford Mahir, William de Turk, and Gert the Hollander, who is the current carillonneur of these towers. What's really interesting, especially from Anton Breeze, is biography, which he had the opportunity to be the director of campanology department at the Curtis Institute of Music, and he hosted 8 students in the singing towers right here in Lake Wales, Florida, including the famed composers Samuel Barber, Giancarlo Menotti, and Nino Rota. So you may wonder, after learning about this wonderful instrument, and it's typical of being in the Netherlands, how did it come to Florida and who's responsible for this? And it's because of Edward William Bok, an American editor and Pulitzer Prize-winning author who was born in Den Helder, Netherlands. Bok is most probably noted for his editorialship of the Ladies' Home Journal in 1889, and under his management the Ladies' Home Journal became one of the most successful and influential publications in America and the first magazine in the world to have 1 million subscribers. Bok was a champion of social causes, a pioneer in the field of public sex education, prenatal education and childcare, and an environmental activist in public health and the saving of Niagara Falls. Bok also had a great influence on American architecture. He was a great leader of the arts and crafts movement at the turn of the century and was the first to call Victorian parlors living rooms. Frank Lloyd Wright Jr. was one of the new architects Bok promoted by making his house plans available to the public in the journal. This is a fun fact, and if you're in the area and you really do appreciate Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture, Florida Southern University, located in Lakeland, Florida, houses the single largest collection of Frank Lloyd Wright's architecture. After working 30 years as the editor of the Ladies' Home Journal, Bok retired, and he published The Americanization of Edward Bok, which he won the Best Gold Medal of the Academy of Political and Social Science and the Joseph Pulitzer Prize for Best Autobiography. In addition to Bok's autobiography, he published several books. Bok was also a noted philanthropist and established many awards for civic enterprises. Bok's final gift was to the American people for gratitude and the opportunity that they had given him over the many years, and that was these Bok Tower Gardens that you see in this video. It was dedicated by President Calvin Coolidge on February 1st, 1929. The planning of these gardens would not have been possible without the help from Frederick Law Olmstead Jr., who Bok employed as one of the most distinguished landscape architects of the generation. His name may sound familiar because his father was the landscape architect and designer of New York City's Central Park. After graduating from Harvard, Olmstead Jr. worked with his father on the Biltmore estate and eventually landscaped many of Washington, D.C.'s most prominent landmarks, including the White House, Jefferson Memorial, Washington National Cathedral and the National Zoo. Later in his career, he wrote the key language of the federal legislation that established the National Park Service and served as the agency's first director. In 1923, Olmstead Jr. embarked on his mission to transform Bok Tower Gardens from a sandhill into one of the nation's most beautiful garden sanctuaries. For the next 5 years, Olmstead Jr. and his team diligently planted a mix of native and exotic plants that would thrive in the humid climate and lend a tropical feel to the native oak hammock. From a practice perspective, Olmstead also carefully selected plants that would provide a hearty supply of food and shelter for migrating birds and other wildlife in the gardens. The pathways leading up to the Singing Tower wind through the Olmstead Historic Landscape Gardens. When visitors reach the top, a majestic view of the entire tower is revealed in the reflection pool, showcasing one of Florida's most photographed sites. Edward Bok recruited famous artisans Milton B, Medary, and Lee Lowry to design a masterpiece that embodied the garden spirit of perfect unity, communicated through profound symbolism and represented in the unique Florida flavor. For example, the sculptures of the tower convey a decidedly spiritual and nature theme through the use of majestic eagles and herons, as opposed to the gargoyles of traditional Gothic design. Take your time as you're walking around the tower, as each side is very different and the artwork is very beautiful. Made out of coquina stone and other materials, the tower reveals various schemes of sculptures and grilled work, which is mostly birds and plants, with a few other forms of wildlife depicted. Besides various flowers and trees, you can find cranes, herons, eagles, seahorses, jellyfish, finfish, pelicans, flamingos, geese, swans, foxes, storks, tortoises, hares, baboons, Adam and Eve, and the serpent. The colorful tiles, only found in the top third of the tower, were designed by J.H. Dulles Allen, depicting the perfect balance in nature, species, and gender. The great brass door and wrought iron gates on the north side of the tower are the masterpiece of Samuel Yellin, America's premier metalworker. The door depicts the book of Genesis, starting with the creation of light and ending with Adam and Eve being ousted from the Garden of Eden. The iron gates leading to the tower were hand-wrought and showcase amorphic figures with various expressions and wings for flight. The sundial on the south side of the tower was set in place on October 26, 1928. The gnome, which indicates time by casting a shadow on the dial face, is made with a bronze rod supported by a bronze snake, the ancient symbol of time. The hours are marked by the 12 signs of the zodiac. A correction table for different periods of the year is located at the base of the sundial. in the back of the Tower and Gardens is this enchanting 20-room Mediterranean-style mansion that transports visitors back in the time to the 1930s, a distinctive period in American history. Originally named El Retiro, meaning retreat in Spanish, the home was built for Charles Austin Buck, a Bethlehem steel executive. To preserve this architectural, cultural, and historical landmark, El Retiro was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1985. Unfortunately, when I toured the Bok Tower Gardens in 2021, I was not able to get inside of El Retiro, and that's because that it was closed to the public. If you wanted to visit El Retiro today, I would definitely check the website, which I've posted in the description box of this video below. If you wish to tour the house itself, you're going to have to buy an extra ticket, which is about $7 or more per person to get inside. The house is only open during certain months of the year and certain days of the week and times during those days. So make sure that you check the website and call ahead of time before visiting the Bok Tower Gardens if you want to see El Retiro. Frederick Law Olmstead Jr. had designed Edward Bok's gardens and several private gardens inside Mountain Lake Estates, a neighboring private community. Charles Austin Buck engaged the Olmstead firm to design the landscape of his winter estate. In 1929, landscape architect William Lyman Phillips of the Olmstead firm began to design the gardens and the placement of the house. In 1930, architect Charles Waite was hired to design the house that has become one of the finest examples of Mediterranean-style architecture in the state of Florida. The estate was the result of the collaborative inspiration of Buck, Waite, and Phillips. There's something at Bok Tower Gardens for children of all ages, so don't forget to bring even elementary school children here, as it can be very educational. I highly suggest that when you're done with the main gardens, take a break, maybe go get some ice cream, have a snack, and then walk through the other conservation gardens, as they teach visitors about the native plants that we have here in Florida, in addition to the various birds, and how we can protect those native birds that migrate throughout South Florida. There is a special garden for children. It's called Hammock Hollows Children's Garden. It has various gardens throughout it, donated by public supermarkets and other foundations, and it helps educate children as to how to grow gardens and experiment with sound, as there's a song, music, tree garden. It gets hot here in Florida, so children can come here, and there's a little water garden that they can bring their bathing suit and just run around in the sprinklers that they have in that particular water garden and explore the other parts of the children's garden, in addition to seeing some of the entertainment that they would have here occasionally in the gardens. Don't forget that one of the most extraordinary things that you get to listen to while you're walking around the gardens is this beautiful singing tower, and it's not every day that you get to have a tower sing the Star-Spangled Banner. This is Dr. Salvatore Vinciguerra. Thank you for watching this video on the Bok Tower Gardens in Lake Wales, Florida. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to this channel, and have a great day. Thank you.
I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in, 'cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I want to visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah, I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in, 'cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in. I'm in a race that everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be liked by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living